Hi everyone, my name's Lizette and I'm back to show you a really delicious chai that I am playing with a little bit on my basic recipe and making it a winter chai. Or I don't know, maybe I'll call it a winter solstice chai. I just thought about that just now. So what we're going to do to make a chai, I'm not going to just use chai tea bags, although I do have some. These are made with the rooibos chai. So that for those of you who don't want caffeine, or maybe you're going to have this later after a meal, you know, later at night, you might not want to stay up all night, so go for a caffeine version, or you can just use regular good quality black chai. So to start this up, we're going to use some cardamom pods, and so you want about 6 of them, or you know, I usually go for like a teaspoon of them. And so you could count them, but I'm not going to do that. So we're just going to put them in our pot and then add to that some peppercorns. And then in addition to that, we're going to add some allspice. And that's sort of the spice I'm bringing in for the holidays. For another a classic chai, you would use some cloves, and you know, that would work too. But I just thought we'd go with some allspice. And it's funny because I used to think allspice was all the spice. That was when I was a little girl. But I realize now it is actually its own thing, and it comes from an allspice tree. So it's kind of fascinating to me. Understanding where that name came from, I don't know, but I like it. And then we're going to add a little bit of star anise, and I'm going to add a little extra just to give that nice anise flavor. And these are beautiful. I think they look like stars. So already when you start to put these in the pan, it looks just really beautiful. And so now we're going to add 2 cinnamon sticks, and I really want the spices to come through and be really intense and aromatic. Now we're going to add the ginger. So I'm going to do a few slices of ginger. So I'll just take a little bit of this off and slice probably 4 thin slices of ginger, and then place those right into my pot. And then I'm going to add some turmeric. And turmeric has a really pretty orange color. So this is a very healing, both actually turmeric and ginger are very healing, really helpful for controlling inflammation, kind of lowering that and helping with pain. But of course today I'm kind of thinking about the flavors. The benefits will come through though, so let's put in about, I got 4 pieces in there. And then last but not least, I want a little bit of orange. So I'm going to make some orange peel, and I just want a few curls of my orange. And I just want the top part of it, the outer layer that has all the volatile oils. There we go. Okay, to that we're going to add a cup of water, and then just bring this to a boil. So you want these spices to infuse for about 20 minutes on their own, just like that. And then when you're finished infusing them, then you want to add your tea bags. So to make it a little quicker to come to a boil, you cover it. And then it'll boil up pretty quickly. All right, so my spices have been infusing for a while. The water's still very light, but that's just because the whole spices don't impart a whole lot of color. And now we're going to add our tea bags. So take the little tag off of them and then just drop them in, string and all. So as soon as I get that last one in, I'm going to take it off the boil. Okay. You can see the color is really coming through from the tea bag. Oh, it smells delicious already. It really doesn't take that long. But the longer you infuse the whole herbs and spices, the more intense the flavor will be. Okay, so you only leave the tea bags to steep for about 3 minutes max. And then when you're done with that, then we're going to strain it, and then we'll make the whole chai. Okay, so they have been probably steeping now for about nearly 3 minutes, and you see how the liquid is very dark here. So now we're going to strain it. And what's nice about this recipe is all of the harder spices like the cinnamon and the star anise, all of those. The star anise, I would say the star anise and the cinnamon sticks. You can actually save these, just rinse them off and save these because they have a lot more life in them. The ginger, turmeric, and of course the orange peel, you'll have to compost. So once this is done, oh, there's one more in there. Let's get him out. Now we have our tea, and this is our chai tea. So you could stop here, but I'm going to make a cup of chai tea. And when you, so to make this cup of chai tea, I'm going to do it with coconut milk, but you can also do it with almond milk. And I'm going to sweeten it with a little bit of maple syrup. It's going to be really delicious. So we just pour that in, right back in the pan, and then add about, I would say to this amount, you know, it's sort of like making your tea. How much milk would you add into your tea? And that's sort of how I want you to look at this. If you're making a big batch, I mean, you could add up to this much coconut milk, but that would be too much for the small amount that I made. So I'll probably just do maybe maybe a quarter cup. That looks good. And we'll just sort of eyeball it. Just give it a stir. You want this sort of caramelly color. Okay, and then we're going to add some maple syrup. And again, maple syrup is to taste. I think the maple syrup actually, if you bring a little bit of that sweet in, it brings in more of the spicy flavor to it. So I'm just going to add about a quarter of that and then warm it up. So I made for you one generous serving, or you can do 2 small servings. And of course, we'll have the recipe for you. You can make a big batch for your guests, or you can just make it to order. This is our beautiful chai, and hopefully you'll try it for the holidays.